It has always been a dream of mankind to fly. In 1961, this dream was realized with the first human space flights. In the 1980s, a young mother took her son to the Kennedy Spaceport in Florida. Seeing the space shuttle take off changed his life. This taking off from the ground, this metaphor of escaping gravity, was fostered in him and grew into fierce determination. As he grew older, determination grew into obsession. In college, he studied very hard. He pushed himself to limits he knew only he could take, forsaking companionship at times. He reacted with pure revulsion at the offer of drugs and alcohol. It was a personal insult to him, as if they were trying to keep him from where he wanted to be. His mother began to worry for him as he became angrier and angrier about things he couldn't control. Luckily, this wasn't until the end of his college life. He graduated with high honors and was accepted into the space program. Of course, it wasn't a sure thing yet. There had to be tests done to make sure that everyone was physically fit for space. He faced this challenge the same as he faced all of his other challenges. He took it seriously, but with confidence, and he got in. Of course, this meant that this was the beginning of even more tests, but it didn't matter to him. Rather, he came to enjoy them because they brought him closer to space. It was the only thing that mattered to him. Weeks of testing rolled by, and his patience was rewarded with his formal acceptance into the program. He got to meet the other astronauts on his team, and a date was set for the launch. They began to train together. The days rolled by. The dress rehearsal went perfectly. Everything was all set. And then...
I regret to announce that all space flights are postponed until further notice.
At first he understood. It affected him too. People needed time. Tests continued, but they began to get tiring. Months passed. Attention spans started to wane. And finally, their flight was just canceled. His mother tried to console him, tried to think of other things he'd be interested in doing. He put all of his attention into one thing and one thing only. There was no runner-up to his career. And the next flight wasn't going to be for a while. There had to be something different, something else. He'd trained all his life to be a passenger on a ship. He didn't know much else, and there was nothing else like it. Compulsion, combustion, explosion. A big blast at first, but when it runs out, when the fire is gone, all you can do is float, drift. Some people can't stand to drift. A permanent solution to a temporary problem. Truth be told, he had thought of going that way for a moment, but it wasn't worth it. Human beings are capable of so much more than one thing. Papers came down that they were psychologically unfit due to their teammate's suicide. He expected as much. He tried to open his mind. It wasn't a total loss. He had made friends for his time spent in the program and spent some time as an analyst. He tried his hand at working with helicopters and airplanes, but it wasn't the same. And he wasn't even sure that he wanted to be what he was anymore. It seemed childish to him now. Like a snow globe with one thing in it, very small, very enclosed, very limited. Though his mind was open to new possibilities now, there were too many that interested him all at once. Except for one. Still an analyst, he settled down with his former teammate. More space launches came and went around them, and they almost stopped caring. And they had a son after a few years. One day, the boy found his father's old trophies from high school and asked him about it. He told his son the story of how he met his mother, and added at the end, not to miss out on the fun things in life, to reach something that might not give back. And that was all right for his father, but the boy had other ideas. He was always questioning, always looking for different ways to solve the same puzzle. He wasn't perfect, but he found what he needed to get to where he wanted to go, into science, into discovery and invention, renewable energy and accessibility, and got his parents, finally, into space.